Hey everybody, so I just wanted to make this video. God was really like telling me to share this because I think he just wants to be another voice out there to show the truth that Jesus is real. So it's funny how this all started because me and my husband were laying in bed and we were just talking to each other, and we were just like, well, we still haven't had a dream and got to see Jesus, so we were just like, wouldn't it be cool if we could see Jesus? And we were just talking about that. So then after we were saying that, like, man, I wish I would have a dream about Jesus, and I was like, well, someday we will, probably. And then so we went to bed that night, and then I ended up having a dream with Jesus in it, and it was so amazing. I mean, it was such a short moment with him, but at the same time it was like, because I was like, well, I had that left behind dream, the rapture happened and I was left behind. So I was like, what, I just want God to give me another dream to tell me that, like, I'm not actually left behind. I need him to be like giving me a dream where he's like taking my hand, and like taking me up into heaven or into the rapture. So so my dreams, I'll start out with my dream, and let's see. Okay, so my dream starts out where I'm just in a restaurant. I was kind of like standing over here where and there was like some people sitting down, and I guess there's just people watching, and then the scene changes and I am at like this dojo place, and I'm just like walking around seeing the people, and there's some guy who was like doing some stretching down here, and I think I was asking him some questions, and he was saying, I don't remember what we were talking about. And then I started going down a hallway, looked kind of like this. It wasn't like scary, like maybe this seems kind of scary, but so I was just walking down the hallway, and then I came to where it was just like black, like nothingness. So I mean, it was kind of like that. It had like a grayish to it, but it was like nothing in front of me. It was like a void, kind of like how they talk about the dreams of the in-between of heaven and hell, where it's just like a blackness, there's like nothing there, it's like an empty space. So just picturing myself standing right here in the hallway looking out into the blackness. And then I just right here I'm looking at the blackness, and then I just decided to I'm gonna turn the brightness up here. I decided to, let's see, lift up my hand. So I was like, hopefully you can see me, but I was like at that hallway, and then I just like reached my hand up like this, and I was like, Jesus! And then all of a sudden this hand came down and grabbed my hand, like I guess how you would, like this, grabbed my hand and then just pulled me up, like, and I felt light as a feather. I just felt super light, and I just started floating up, and with this person grabbing my hand and floating up. So we're floating over, and I was just showing a picture of like the hand grabbing, and then so we're floating through, like this darkness, right? And obviously it has stars, but it was like a gray like this, but there was no stars, and it was like a nothingness, and we just started floating through while this person was holding my hand, And then when I looked up at this person, it was kind of like this, because the person was, at first I didn't know it was Jesus, but he was like in a spirit form, so he was like see-through. So he was see-through, so I could see that, you know, he was, when I looked at him, I saw that he was wearing his white robe, and he looked at me, and I saw his face. He had that same face like that they show in the pictures. He has the beard with the hair just like that, and of course he was see-through. And as we're floating, I'm looking up at him, and I was like, it's Jesus. Like I knew it was Jesus. And he was like smiling at me. This was like the best picture I could get of like this type of smile that it was. It was like that loving smile. He wasn't showing his teeth. He was just looking back at me while he was holding my hand, and you know, we were floating across the darkness, and he was just looking at me and smiling, and I was just like, I felt so happy and felt so much love. And then so we started floating across, and we're still floating, you know, and we just keep going forward and forward. And then I ended up coming up to this, just like this area of land, but it wasn't empty. It had like a bunch of trees, not a bunch of trees, but I mean there was like stuff there, and you couldn't like fall off like this one. But this is the best explanation, because it was just like this little area he like brought me over to, plopped me down, and then he said, look, he said, heaven is like Candyland, look at the colors. So I was looking around, and I saw this bush that looked kind of like this. It was like a fern type bush, and it just had a bunch of colors on it, kind of like that. And after that, you know, he disappeared, so I was just looking around, and I saw the bush, and then that was when I woke up. So what's kind of funny about this too is that I was watching a video about like a 5-year-old girl who said that she had a dream about like the mark of the beast and like receiving the mark, except for it was in Candyland. She said it was in Candyland, and then like the Candy King was the evil guy, and she went into the Candy King and came out having green eyes. So like she took the mark. So I feel like when God said Candyland, that he was also telling me that that dream from the 5-year-old girl was also from him, like it was like a confirmation about that dream. And then also this little colorful bush with this other guy who had a dream that he went to heaven, and, or I think it was a guy or it was a lady, but they mentioned to the right that there was this really colorful bush, and so that also stuck out to me, like it was a confirmation that what that person saw was also real. So I thought that was kind of funny how he does that in a dream. But so that's my testimony for seeing Jesus, and it was pretty awesome. I was just thinking like, God, am I really gonna be left behind? Am I really gonna be left behind in the rapture? I was like talking to my husband before, you know, going to sleep, that like, I wish he would just like take my hand like tell me like I'm not actually gonna be left behind, you know, and that dream was just for everybody, like a warning for everybody, like what it's gonna be like and stuff. So I remember waking up and just feeling like so much love, and I was so happy. Like I just remember the feeling of Jesus grabbing my hand and like floating up, and like the fact that he was smiling at me, like that made me feel like he knew me, you know? It was like I didn't feel like I was gonna be told, depart from me, I never knew you, you know? It was like he grabbed my hand and he was smiling at me, and I just It was just so awesome. So I hope this encourages you guys, and you just never know when you're gonna get, you know, a dream from God. You could just be like talking about it, not expecting it, and it'll happen like that night. So I hope this encourages you guys and makes you guys feel happy, and I love you so much. If you don't know Jesus, please give your life to him. He loves you so much. He wants to have a relationship with you. Just call out to Jesus, repent, and ask him to come into your heart. He loves you so much. He just wants a relationship with you. Alright guys, well, I will see you in the next video. I have another one to share because my husband had a dream about Jesus as well. But his was actually a fake Jesus. So I have to make a video about that too. Alright, love you guys. I will talk to you guys again soon.